Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. So we have about an hour-long program this evening for you all, and then we'll go back to hanging out and mingling and networking. We wanted to make sure that we had some delicious food for you all today too, so please eat up, and then there's some drinks as well. My name is Miriam Halliday. I think I know many of you in the room. It's really exciting to be here. I get the great fortune of being the CEO for WorkSource Southwest Washington, your local workforce development board. We represent this area in Clark County, Cowlitz County, and Wahkiakum County up north as well. And I'm going to pass the mic to our dear friends at the Community Foundation.
Thank you. Miriam gave me 30 seconds on the mic. That's it. Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Morton, and I have the pleasure of being the president of the Community Foundation for Southwest Washington. And we do a lot of things. You all probably know that, but a big part of what we do is support community-based organizations in exercising the vision that they have for their community in service to their community. That's the number one thing we do, and we try to find resources to help you do that. We think it's an important role and an important bridge in our community, and we hope you do too. And that's why we work so hard to build relationships with those of you in this room and those who aren't in this room too. And the people that make that happen are some amazing staff members that I just want to call out really quick, and board members who are here. If you're a staff member with the Community Foundation, can you please raise your hand? Ashley and Esra and Ursula and Anne and Mari, thank you all for being here. We also have some board members here too. Can you raise your hand if you're a board member with the Community Foundation? There's George and John and Christian and Andy and Vanessa. Yes, these people make this happen. They're the ones that have the vision and execute on the vision. And we're so excited to be here tonight with you and hear about the great work that you're doing too. So have a good night.
And for the record, Matt will speak again tonight, this evening. So before we kick us off, I feel a lot of energy and positive vibes in this room. So I'd love if you're able just to kind of look around the room, see who's here for a minute, take it all in, maybe give someone a wink or a little nod. It's pretty special. Thank you all for taking the time on a wintry, blustery evening. So we're here today to do a few things. One is to dig in a little bit around what the Community Reinvestment Plan is and to see its local impact in the community. So we're going to be hearing from 8 grantees of the Community Reinvestment Plan in Southwest Washington and hear about how this is going for them, the changes this has made in their work and in their communities. And then we're going to also talk about what advocacy could look like for the Community Reinvestment Plan into this current legislative session. We have a number of guests here today, which is wonderful. Specifically, we have guests from the Office of Equity, Megan and Patrick in the back there. I'd say it's probably the most important agency in the state. Personally, Megan's going to come up and share a little bit about what their take is on CRP and a bit of the history of the investment and perhaps what is to come as well. Before we do that, just generally, the Community Reinvestment Plan was really built by community and continues to be overseen by community. There's a high level of scrutiny on the program across the state around how the dollars are invested. I know many of us have worked in this world of community work for many years. I'd say probably collectively in this room, there's over 100 years of community work. I think a number of us have also seen government programs do a lot of damage to our community. I can say, I think the thing that stands out for me about this project is it's been very different, and it's a different experience from the very beginning of finding out about what the CRP is. Acronyms, just to remind, CRP, Community Reinvestment Plan. Being built by community all across the state, and then those dollars coming to either region and being invested in community is just really special with a high level of transparency. You can go on the website through the Department of Commerce and you can see the folks that are funded, you can see what the impact is, what they're up to. And I think what's really cool is that you have just this really multicultural, diverse effort across the state of local organizations doing what they do best, which is invest in their community and uplift their community for economic opportunity. I feel really fortunate to be a part of the effort at WSW. I know my team has been working really, really hard on this as well. Shout out to all of you for the efforts we've made thus far. The CRP has funded $200 million across the state and close to $20 million in Southwest Washington. So it's been a sizable investment for us, but also the rest of the state. Without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Megan to share a little bit about the Community Reinvestment Plan from the Office of Equity and whatever else she wants to share with us.
Good evening. I appreciate you for having me in this space. Patrick Stickney is with the office as well. Patrick came from Tacoma. I came from Olympia. But we worked for a day here and got a tour of this beautiful space. And I'm just in awe about what we can do when we come together, when it's by us and for us, right? Government's supposed to be of, by, and for, but it has rarely, if ever, lived up to that. And CRP, the Community Reinvestment Plan, is for me one of the first opportunities to really live by that. And there's a lot of nuance to that, right? Because people throw around community. This is what the community wants. This is what community wants. We're all different. Nobody can speak for any one of us, even within the same demographic or same city. And so I think we have to understand that there's a lot of nuance to what community means, and that what maybe some people in your demographic want, or in another, that it's okay. There's enough for us all. In Washington State, I think we have the foundations to meet all the needs, all the diverse needs of every single individual in Washington State. And so when people ask me, okay, the Office of Equity, what is that? What are y'all trying to do? I say we're here to advance a Washington for all. We don't need a message that says only some can win and some can fall. We can have enough for everybody, and our communities do better when everybody does better. So I'm really excited for the CRP. It came through advocacy, right? But it also came through legislative and policy work. Every program needs all those pieces to bring life in a real way, because I know y'all probably know that the state can really mess up some stuff when left to our own devices. So I won't say, you didn't hear that from me. But anyway, we sometimes get stuck in rigidity. I grew up in state government. I've been a state employee for over 17 years. I started as a child support case manager long time ago, cringe. I navigated my way up, and I have seen a lot of things, a lot of the process about what we do, how we work well and how we don't work well. A lot of that is how rigid we are, how you have to fit one size fits all. You have to fit neatly in these little boxes, and our lives are messy. We're messy. People are messy. We don't fit inside nobody's little box, right? So then we used to get told, oh, I'm sorry, we can't help you, maybe next year, or we need a different legislation, or whatever the thing is, right? But government is here to serve. Government's here to serve. So we're really excited about this. We need to hear your voices. That's going to matter for our legislators. I don't know if you know, but Washington State is in a budget deficit. We have less money than we need to spend. So they're going to be cutting programs, right? So while I would say that even with CRP, there were things that weren't perfect. We messed up things. The state, not y'all, the state messed up stuff, right? That doesn't mean you throw it away, because the promise is there. The foundation is there. And so your voices will help. Your voices mean more to legislators than mine. That's because you all vote. They want your votes, right? So your voices mean more than mine necessarily. The big picture about CRP is that we're directly giving money to folks who are connected to you all, or directly to the business owners themselves. Oftentimes, the state says we have money, we're going to give money to some big nonprofit organization, and they're going to help people. And then they give us a nice little report of how they help people. But when we talk to folks who need help, they didn't get impacted by it at all. We don't actually know where that went, right? So when I'm showing up and connecting with folks like you who are like, no, this impacted, and all across Washington State, this is happening. I'll show up in space, and small business owners have gotten equipment to expand their business. Somebody was able to buy a big tractor lawnmower thing, and then they were able to expand their business. They could buy these big freezers so they could expand their business. They could hire another employee. So you're talking about micro businesses under 10 people. That stuff means a lot, right? $10,000 means a lot, right? And we want to be able to keep this going. We started this, it was advocacy for the war on drugs, right? So the state needs to make right all the things that it did wrong from the war on drugs. Nixon targeting Blacks and hippies. So that's what the war on drugs targeted, but that wasn't the only people impacted, right? And so through the research led by a community organization showed that Black, Latino, or Latina, and Indigenous communities were most disproportionately impacted. So most impacted based on their population size. And so that's who we use to focus or target for this funding. I would like to say that in the future, what we're going to do is keep looking at data, but also do more intentional data gathering. Like for the API&H community, right? We talk about, well, there's so many different ethnic groups inside that group that sometimes under a large umbrella, you become invisible. And so what about Vietnamese? What about the Pacific Islander folks, right? Folks who we know are still struggling. So we're working inside the state to disaggregate or break out those communities so we can see at a population level or at a community level what's really going on. And then we'll be able to know based on the data, because I don't really care what the specific policy was. Anytime you have disproportionate outcomes, it's because of state policy, right? If you read even X. Kennedy's book, it says, unless you believe there's something wrong with me or wrong with you, then differences in outcomes have to be because of state policy or action. So states' actions or decisions at a population level are what lead to these outcomes. And so we want to just focus on the outcomes. Let's focus on the outcomes and target solutions, target resources for those populations who need it most. It shouldn't matter the why, right? Because a lot of these systems we talk about are a combination of different policy actions. So that's what we kind of want to do in the future. And so hopefully it could depend on who needs it most. We'll target resources that way, but they say a rising tide lifts all boats, right? Okay. So I'm really excited because this is what we talk about when we say for, by, and of. For, by, and of. We're listening to you all. We want to make sure each region in Washington State is done a little bit differently. That's because your needs are different, right? So we don't want to do this one size fits all approach. Every workforce group knows, and other populations that we're working with, they're able to meet the needs of your specific community. And so that's why the experience has been a little bit different. So Korbett wasn't able to be here. Well, he sent me his speech. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about something extraordinary happening in Washington State, the Community Reinvestment Project. This isn't just another program, it's a movement, a game changer to right the wrongs of the past and invest in a bright future for everyone. In 2022, our state said enough is enough. They put $200 million on the table to tackle the deep inequities left behind by policies that hurt our communities, especially Black, Latina, tribal, and other marginalized groups. This wasn't done in isolation. Nearly 19,000 voices came together to shape a plan that's as bold as it is impactful. Today, we're seeing results. We've invested over $197 million, funding more than 400 organizations by and for the communities they serve. So that means that you're not going to have some outside organization say, we know it's better for you. Like it's of you and by you and for you. And these aren't just numbers. These are lives transformed. 996 convictions vacated. $1 million in legal financial obligations waived. 417 licenses reinstated. That's barriers broken and hope restored. But it doesn't stop there. Programs like the Individual Development Accounts, IDAs, are offering up to $100,000 to $20,000 in match savings to help families own homes, start businesses, and build generational wealth. Over 1,600 young people have been reached through mentorship and after-school programs. And we've connected with over 820 Black, Latina, and tribal-owned businesses, providing grants to spark local economic growth and create jobs. And here's the best part. Every dollar is tracked. We've got a public dashboard that we're going to launch soon showing you where the money's going and the impact it's making. This isn't just a promise, it's action, accountability, and transparency in real time. This is Washington State saying equity isn't a buzzword, it's a commitment. We're creating pathways to homeownership, better jobs, and brighter futures for the people who've been left behind for far too long. And my friends, y'all are friends with Korbett? Okay, whatever. This is just the beginning. Together, we're building a future where everyone gets a fair shot, where every community thrives, and where equity becomes the foundation of our shared success. Thank you. Let's keep going. The future is bright, and we're just getting started. If you are interested about some of the programs that we named, it's on the website. I would say we can get Korbett on a Zoom meeting so he can explain all this stuff, because it's really technical stuff, right? But I think the beauty of it is we all know the answers. So because it was built by community folks, people that aren't state employees, you all built it using the programs that you know would work, and that's why we're seeing the benefits. And I just want to give a round of applause to you all, because you're spending the money, right? It would be no good for us to have a program that doesn't get utilized. That's when they start saying, see, people don't want it. We told you, we try to give it to them, they don't want it. So you all are making this real because you are utilizing the funds. We hope to keep expanding that and growing it for generations to come.
Thanks. All right, so on your tables, there are these half-page little asks here. So this is to see if you are interested, available, have the energy, time to get involved this legislative session for advocacy. So please fill that out if you do, and then we'll be in touch probably next week with some potential options around how we can make that happen. I'm going to pass it over to our first spotlight here. We are fortunate to have this space here in the city. We're fortunate to have Paul here with us from Fourth Plane. I'm going to start with you, Paul, our hostess with the mostest, and then maybe you can pass it off to the next person.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name's Paul. I'm the Executive Director of Fourth Plane Forward. Thank you for that lovely introduction. Really appreciated. It's great to see everybody here, and welcome to the Fourth Plane Community Commons. It's wonderful to always see some familiar faces and some new faces coming into this space. It's a really special space. For our community, it's the first real asset for the Fourth Plane Corridor. It's a city and Vancouver Housing Authority led building. It was a really important piece of asset building for this community, and Fourth Plane Forward is honoured and lucky enough to be the operational manager for this space. So we manage this event space, the co-working space, which is just back there, and the commissary kitchen. We've been running this space for around about 18 months now, give or take. So there's lots of really interesting and cool things happening here. Check out our website, see what events are happening. And if you ever want to hold an event here, give us a shout. We've always got space. We've got co-working space. And if you need a kitchen space where we get all this wonderful food from, and then we also have that kitchen there that's usable. So sorry, shameless plug. I have to do it because, you know, I'm not asking you for money. I'm asking for revenue. There's a difference. So the Community Reinvestment Project. We've been really fortunate to partner with Community Foundation Southwest Washington and also with Workforce Southwest Washington in this program. For us, working along the Fourth Plane Corridor, and we're sort of slowly moving out of the corridor and working very closely with community across Clark County, and specifically with BIPOC community members. And this was a real opportunity for us to delve into working with Workforce Southwest Washington and really looking at how we can work with Black, Latin and Indigenous community businesses, thinking about their workforce development and what that looks like. So we've been on a really interesting journey with Workforce Southwest Washington, and the program that we're working with them on is about getting into these small businesses and talking to them about their workforce development needs, and really giving an understanding of what Workforce and WorkSource does for the community. And for us, it's certainly been a really great learning curve to understand a lot of really interesting things that they do. But it's also then given us a real opportunity as an organization to really go out and meet people where they're at, which is really critical for the work that we do. Our targets are around being able to visit about 60 to 80 Black, Indigenous and Latino businesses over the next 8 months. I think we've visited around about 30 or 40 at the moment, had some phenomenal conversations with them, really learning a lot about their needs, both in workforce development and business technical assistance. And so that for us has been really interesting to do, and really helps build out that ecosystem that we link in with our CDBG funding and other funding that we get. It's also allowing us to provide resources to them through a grant program. So we have a micro grant program, and the first funding went out 2-3 weeks ago. I don't know if folks heard about Cuatro Caminos. They had a fire very recently, very sad. And some of their family members and workers were significantly injured in that fire. And this grant has been able to provide them with some funding to help bring on additional workforce, to help them rebuild their food truck. So it's really hit home for us. This funding is hitting folks who really need it directly. We know Isabel and her family very closely. So it really brings it home that we're able to put this money out very quickly and in the right space at the right time. So we're really excited to continue doing this project. Our goal is to bring out a lot more funding into the community. We do a lot more events here, boost the work that we do with Workforce Southwest Washington, and really get a strong understanding in the community of what workforce development can do for the businesses in the corridor and out in Clark County as well. So it's been a phenomenal program for us, and we're really looking forward to what happens next with it. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I have my notes, so just give me a second. My name is Dulce Perkins. I'm the Executive Director at LatinoBuilt. For any of you that might not know LatinoBuilt, we are a nonprofit that is based out of Portland, and it was created by contractors that are Latinos that saw the barriers and challenges that we face every single day in our community. So this great organization was brought together to be able to balance out those challenges and bring resources and education in a native language, which was just Spanish, to make sure that we can actually strengthen our community. So with that said, I am really grateful actually for this grant that we were funded with Workforce Washington, especially because I'm actually lived in Vancouver for 5 years and I commuted all the way to Portland. So selfishly for me, it was like, can we please start getting something in Vancouver so I don't have to do that long commute anymore? And of course, then we got the grant and then I moved to Portland. But needless to say, about 30% of our contractors do that commute every single day. And as many of you know, that is not an easy commute over the bridge. So we're really appreciative that we're able to now bring these resources and education here, which thanks to the Common for Plains, because we've actually hosted the classes here. It's an easy access for our contractors to come and just be able to learn about the basic needs of how to run their business in their native language. Many of our contractors, they know how to do the work, but it's the business management that is a challenge. So that is the main resource we provide. Those are the ones that align strongly with this funding, which is to make sure that we're able to provide training, education, and resources to the community that is already facing a lot of challenges every single day. So with that said, I really hope that this comes again, because we've learned a lot and we still have one more class to put together here in Southwest Washington. So if any of you know contractors that want to attend, please let us know. But we've learned a lot of the challenges that comes with it, right? We're new to this community as an organization. So we want to make sure that everybody knows the resources that we have and that they're completely free. They're in Spanish. And if there's anything else that we can provide, please reach out to us. So thank you once again.
Hello, everyone. My name is McClanahan. I am one of the program directors at WorkSource. We have had the Community Reinvestment Program for a little over a year now, and I'd like to tell you a couple stories of how these dollars have been able to impact our community. So bear with me, I can't really hold two things at once here. Jane came to WorkSource looking for help obtaining her GED so she could become more employable. She had no job and was currently living with friends and needed to find a way to support herself. Her family had never been supportive or given her any guidance in life. So when she came to WorkSource, she really had no career path in mind. She was immediately assessed for services and program eligibility. Because Jane had no income, this made her eligible for the EXA program, Economic Security for All. Her employment specialist worked with Jane to develop a plan for employment, and due to her age, we contacted our partners over at LNESC to see what other additional supports they could offer her. She was assessed with the youth program and was also enrolled for assistance with support services and GED help. She was also referred to DSHS to get signed up for food assistance. Because she was enrolled into the Economic Security for All program, she was eligible for the Community Reinvestment Program. We spoke to her about the program and her eyes immediately lit up. She thought we were joking. Jane began working on her GED over at LNESC, but she had to rely on her friends to drive her to do her GED classes 3 times a week. She didn't have any transportation on her own. She even had to miss a few sessions due to not having any transportation. This also made it difficult for her to find work. Jane started attending essential skills workshops online, worked on her resume, and took a career assessment to help her become more job ready. While working on her GED and getting ready for employment opportunities, Jane began saving money from the incentive program. After saving for 3 months, she was able to purchase her very own car. The excitement in her eyes when coming back to WorkSource to tell us, oh my gosh, I just bought up my car, is the exact reason why we do the work that we do. Pulls on your little heartstrings. Jane is still working on finishing up her GED, but because she now has a vehicle, she got a job immediately at AT&T and is bringing in $3,500 a month. And having the support from the program at WorkSource and LNESC is the most support she's ever received in her entire life, and she's so grateful for the opportunity. So Christy unexpectedly lost her job in November of 2023 and found herself needing help. She was referred to WorkSource from the Cowlitz tribe as she needed help filing unemployment. She found that her claim was held up in adjudication. She had no income coming in, so she was quickly connected to the EXA program to get help with job searching and support services. Christy had a background working in manufacturing and had a lot of skills that could transfer into many other settings. She worked with her employment specialist to update her resume and target it towards each job she applied for. She also took the Strategies for Success workshops to further aid in her job search. While looking for work, Christy began having car trouble and her vehicle became unsafe to drive. Worried that the status of her vehicle would hinder her ability to job search, she worked with her case manager to find community resources for car repair. Chrissy was enrolled into the BFET program so she could provide additional services. The BFET program was able to pay $1,500 to fix her car to make it safe to drive once again. She was able to attend multiple job interviews without the worry of her car breaking down. In addition, she was provided gas assistance to help her drive back and forth to interviews and the WorkSource office to job search on the computers as she did not have a computer at home. Christy and her employment specialist also worked to find community resources that could help her pay some bills until she found employment. She was referred to FISH, the Kelso Resource Center, and worked with other partners at the WorkSource Center for additional assistance. Christy continued to go through the adjudication process with unemployment. She was still not getting anywhere and it had been 3 months with zero income. She was struggling to make ends meet and began worrying that she was going to lose her house. That same month is when the Community Reinvestment Program came into play. Her case manager discussed the incentive program and how she is eligible to receive $1,000 a month for job searching and making progress towards her career goals. Christy was so excited to hear about the program, she literally cried. This money will be used to help her stabilize her living situation and help her with basic needs, as she didn't even have soap to bathe herself. The following month, Christy got the news from an employer that was offered a position at West Rock at their new plant box that was built. She's returned to work as an operator, starting wage at $21.50 an hour, and will see a wage increase at $25 an hour after 90 days. This position also comes with full medical benefits, including 401k. Without the help of these incentive dollars, Christy may have become homeless. She is so grateful for the support of WorkSource, and she has no idea where she would be today without these funds. Thank you.
Well, first, I'll talk about the need to continue this and how it has enhanced our organization. We're about 1.5 years old, are new. And so we came in trying to learn a lot of different things. And so we actually were lucky that the community reinvestment funds came at a time while we were growing. But I'll say this, it kept us in the game long enough to be able to see the issues, the problems within the community that we were serving. We were able to catch more issues and extend some of our services. It allowed us to hire staff. Being able to pay people is very important. And for us, you know, I'm always willing to do everything that I have to do. But at the same time, when I have people coming in to help me, I'm one of those people that like to put my people first and in a position to be able to help without struggling. So it did a lot for us. I'll say that it aligned with our vision a lot because we work with reentry and individuals coming home from prison. So there was funding in there that was huge for us. There was the healing grant that we received. That was huge for us because we were able to set up a program where we were able to show love to people who were doing the work as well. And a part of that was we give them a few dollars a month for them to go take care of themselves, spa days, massages, whatever they needed, just showing our appreciation as people that's doing the work to recognize the other individuals that are doing the work as well, that we plan to either partner with or keep dealing with in the future, and that we recognize them for putting in the hard work. We also received some funding from Northwest Credible Messengers out of Seattle. They were doing a grant, they were doing some training for certified peer counselors. So we took 9 kids from Vancouver up to Federal Way. We stayed out there for a week and they were doing this training and became certified peer counselors. And now we'll run a program for the next 6 months, which, you know, hopefully you guys will see, but we'll be doing free haircuts down the street at our building and connecting the community with resources. So that was pretty huge. And there's actually a violence prevention grant that we were lucky to be able to be a part of as well, where we'll be putting together 12 individuals to put together a violence prevention program that we will start running next year. This is something that I think is going to be huge for us because we'll be actually reaching out to as high as we can in leadership in the city to say, hey, let's come to the table and see what violence prevention looks like. And we'll spearhead that and run a program after we come up with a good plan. So I'm talking like superintendents, city managers. I'm putting people on blast right now so that you guys know I did ask them. And hopefully I'm not ruining no friendships or relationships. But yeah, you know, people like that or anybody under them, the next person in line. It allowed us to build those programs specifically, right? So now as we're building those programs and still, you know, working through our kinks of how do we make it look right? How do we make sure that we are aligned with Department of Commerce and, you know, aren't making any mistakes as we grow? It's gotten me closer to being an ED. So all you EDs that know, you know, you're always super busy, you're trying to run things, you're the janitor, you're the delivery boy, you're the counselor, you're the mentor, you're all these different things. And a lot of times you don't get a chance to show up to places like this because you're kind of still boots on the ground. And, you know, somebody had mentioned something about the war on drugs. I think I think it was dope that they came up with something. I use the word dope. I think it was dope that they thought about the war on drugs, you know, said, let's put some money back into the community. And I think it needs to continue because, like I said, for organizations like ours, it's making a big difference. And for individuals that were affected by drugs, whether as a user or as someone that participated and distributed in it, it's a good way to give back and fix some things that you may have been a part of and messed up. So for me, it's my way of giving back for what I did. So thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. And it's an honor of the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber to be a recipient of one of these awards or grantees. I'm going to go a little bit back and share a little bit of the history. When I say Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber, people often think chamber. What are you doing? What are you doing here? But really, our organization is a community-based chamber or a community-focused chamber. I want to think back on 35 years when some leaders decided to get together. They knew that the issue and the problem with our folks not being in places of leadership was not because our folks were not smart enough to be in those places. They knew that it was because of lack of investment into our community. So full circle, 30 years later, it's an honor of mine to stand here and talk about the importance of investment or reinvestment into our communities. We are honored to work together with WorkSource and Workforce Southwest Washington with our MISA program, which is a match savings program. And when I think about reinvestment, I can only think of the MISA program, how it fits so perfectly with the work that we're doing. For folks who are not familiar with IDAs or the MISA programs, it's a match savings program. And I think this is such a powerful tool because a lot of the times when we think of your more typical social policy, you often we've gotten the funds to survive. I would argue that we need more funding there too, but funding to maybe just survive. We know that when we just survive, we cannot invest and our assets cannot grow and we cannot get out of the cycle. So the MISA program is specifically for that. How do we invest into asset development? How do we invest into giving folks an opportunity to get their savings to grow? I remember I loved it when I was growing up and people would say, you know, just save money. And I was like, we're trying. Like, we are trying to save money. How is it that my mom's hard work of 3 jobs, of my family's hard work is not the same? And what are we doing different? How is it not the same? Because if you're thinking that it's just hard work, I was like, something seems wrong. So when I think of the match savings program, when I think of the work that we're doing here, when I think of the funds that are happening here, it's really something that can change somebody's perspective or somebody's life trajectory. When you are able to invest into asset savings, you're giving opportunity people to purchase a house, to purchase a car, to get them to their job, to go to get higher education, to start a small business. And I think it's just such a powerful program to think of and to really consider what asset development and investing into asset development looks like. We know that with policy, previous policy, our community has been stripped away from millions and millions of dollars, right? Even just thinking of the war on drugs, think about the Louisiana Purchase, think about redlining, think about gentrification. So I think it's so important to be able to give back to our community the funding that has been stripped away for so many years. So with that, thank you so much.
So my name is Sandra. Buenas tardes. I am honored to be the director for Upward Bound, the LULAC National Educational Service Center here in Vancouver. I also serve as a school board director here at Vancouver Public Schools as the first Latina on the school board. Thank you. I have a hard time speaking in public, so I write my notes and I will read my speech. So I stand here not just as a leader, but as a reflection of the students we serve. I am proud daughter of Mexican immigrants, the eldest of 3 and first generation low-income college student. I understand firsthand how isolating and overwhelming it can feel to navigate the path of higher education alone, without mentors, without a roadmap, and often without a safety net. That's why programs like Upward Bound are so vital. We ensure that no students ever has to walk the path alone. So our mission at Upward Bound is to increase the rate at which students complete high school and graduate from college. We provide academic tutoring, mentorship, cultural enrichment, and experiences that broaden horizons, experiences that many of our students might otherwise never have. Currently, we serve 60 students across 3 high schools, so Fort, Heritage, and Evergreen. This past year, our students had life-changing opportunities, their first plane ride, the first visit at a college campus, the first time seeing mountains or exploring STEM workshops at Disneyland, where they learned the magic of science. These moments ignite something powerful, hope, confidence, and belief in the future they never imagined for themselves. This grant will allow us to expand our reach, serving 30 more students over the next 2 years, with a special focus on Fort Vancouver High School. As a proud Trapper alumni, I know the challenges these students face. Fort is our district's most diverse high school, serving 64% students of color, 27% multilingual students, with 63% from low-income households. So despite its vibrancy, Fort also faces significant barriers, including 62% chronic absenteeism rate and low proficiency in core subjects like math and science. but I see opportunity and resiliency in these students. They simply need someone to believe in them and invest in their potential. The Community Reinvestment Project aligns deeply with our mission by prioritizing historically underserved communities, Black, Latino, and Indigenous youth. Through this focus, we've witnessed remarkable transformations. Students who once doubted their abilities are now standing taller, speaking confidently, and dreaming boldly about futures that include college, careers, and community leadership. So today I'd like to invite two students to share their stories, their testimony of how Upward Bound has impacted their lives. So please join me and welcome Brenda and Evelyn.
Okay, good evening. My name is Brenda Julian. I am a graduate of LNESC Upward Bound. It is an honor to be here today and share my journey with all of you. As a proud Latina of Mexican parents, I was raised with a single father after my mom was deported when I was young. Losing my mom at such an early age was a challenge that shaped much of my childhood. My dad, however, stepped up in every way he could. He worked tirelessly to provide for me and ensure I could access opportunities he never had. Despite the obstacles, he instilled in me the value of education and the importance of perseverance. His dedication to my future motivated me to push through the difficulties and focus on building a better life. I joined Upward Bound when I was struggling both mentally and academically. This program became more than a resource, it became a lifeline. It supported me financially, personally, and academically during some of the most challenging years of my life. Through Upward Bound, I found not only the tools I needed to succeed, but also a community that believed in me when I struggled to believe in myself. Upward Bound sets up underrepresented students like me for success. It provides resources and opportunities that many of us could never dream of otherwise. Through its workshops, mentorship, and guidance, I've gained strong leadership skills that have prepared me to take on challenges with confidence and determination. Upward Bound gave me experiences I never thought I would have, from college visits to leadership conferences to opportunities that expanded my vision of what a possible future could be. When I joined Upward Bound, it inspired me to become more active in my school community and get involved in ways I hadn't before. I joined cheerleading and was cheer captain my junior and senior year. I was involved in MECHA, the VPS Student Advisory, and culinary arts. These activities gave me a sense of purpose and belonging and allowed me to develop new skills and build lasting friendships. And now I've come full circle. I am proud to say that I work for the program as a tutor, helping other students navigate the same challenges I once faced. This role has been incredibly rewarding and has had a profound impact on my life. It has allowed me to give back to a program that gave me so much, while also strengthening my leadership and communication skills. Guiding students and witnessing their growth reminds me every day of the power of mentorship and the importance of investing in young people. This program is not just about academics. It's about building the whole person. It's about instilling hope, fostering resilience, and equipping students with the skills to thrive in a world that often seems stacked against them. Programs like Upward Bound are worth every investment because they are investments in people, in dreams and potential and in the future. In closing, I want to emphasize how life-changing Upward Bound has been for me and so many others. It's not just a program, it's a movement of hope and empowerment. To everyone who has supported this program, whether as staff, mentors, donors, or advocates, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your work matters and it makes a real difference. Thank you for allowing me to share my story, and thank you for continuing to invest in dreams of students like me. Together, we are building a future where every young person, no matter their background, has the opportunity to succeed. Thank you.
My name's Evelyn, and it's truly an honor to stand here before you today and share my story growing up in a low-income household. As the middle child of three, I always dreamed of achieving more than my circumstances suggested. My parents, who worked tirelessly, instilled the belief that I needed to create a better future for myself. That belief sparked a determination to search for resources and programs like AVID and eventually Upward Bound programs that could give me the tools to change my life. Upward Bound has been an enormous impact on me, and it opened my eyes to opportunities I never thought possible, taking me to places I never imagined, connecting me with mentors and resources, and giving me confidence to take charge of my future. Even though I didn't follow the traditional college route, the skills and guidance I gained through Upward Bound helped me find a path. Today, I'm proud to say that I became a realtor, something I never would have achieved without their unwavering support. I truly believe I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for this program. Thank you. Although I haven't personally been affected by this grant, I know its power lies in expanding opportunities to reach more students like me. I ensure that more young people in our community can experience life-changing support and guidance. Programs like Upward Bound don't just transform lives, they create lasting ripple effects, strengthening families, schools, and communities. As a proud graduate, I'm committed to giving back, and I want to help our Latino community, to learn as much as I can from all of you, and to serve as a resource to others. Thank you for believing in programs like this and for supporting the dreams of students like me. Your investment truly changes lives. Thank you.
I just want to say I'm really proud of these two young ladies. They have really grown in the past year and a half. I've only been a director a year and a half, so it's been an honor to see them grow and such powerful young leaders. These young women represent just a fraction of the impact of your investment in Upward Bound has made. Because of your support, students who might have been statistics are now success stories. The ripple effect of this grant will be felt not only in their lives, but in our community years to come. So thank you to the Community Foundation of Southwest Washington and the CRP grant for believing in the power of education to change lives. Together, we are building a brighter, more equitable future, one student at a time. So thank you.
Thank you. Wow, after all that, I wish I had wrote a speech or something. My name is James Allen Parker. I'm an enrolled citizen for the Chippewa Cree Tribal Nation out of Montana. I'm the CEO of the Northwest Native Chamber, serving Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. You know, when we talk about the Community Reinvestment Project, we see how it aligns very closely with the Northwest Native Chamber's mission. A mission and vision fostering economic empowerment, cultural preservation, and community well-being through strategic initiatives and partnerships. And we're able to kind of focus on that mission through our pillars of service, our dedication to community of education and growth, relationship building, and economic justice and transformation. One example of that that's taken place here in Washington is our partnership with the Washington State Department of Commerce. Together, we've launched the Strategic Asset Acquisition Program, also known as SAP, a transformative grant initiative designed to support Native-owned businesses in Washington statewide. With about $674,000 in funding, SAP helps entrepreneurs acquire critical high-value assets to expand their operations and foster long-term sustainability. Funding for up to $100,000 in grants is for land purchases to operate or expand your business. Equipment acquisition to boost capacity and efficiency. Down payment assistance for retail or studio space, infrastructure investments critical to operations. And this is a program that does mirror another program that we deliver right across the river, the Economic Equity Investment Program, really aimed to build intergenerational wealth and transform our community's ability to not just save, but grow and plan and build for ourselves. So I think we had 26 applications totaling over $2 million in asks for this program. So it's definitely, we see the need, we know it's there, and we hope to continue to move forward and grow that program. Another example is the Northwest Native Chamber and the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber on behalf of the City of Vancouver, working on their HERE initiative, really providing electrification rebates to qualified Vancouver residents and businesses through June 2025. Really makes it possible for local homeowners, renters, and business owners in Vancouver to apply for electrification rebates at no cost for energy assessments of their home and business. So once again, how do we bring resources to community that have traditionally been shut out, traditionally been marginalized and underserved? And so that's really kind of how we conduct our work. It's how we continue to work our way in Oregon, how we continue to do our work in Washington and Idaho. So really kind of raising our hands for United for Reinvestment and really looking forward to the continued partnership and being of service to the people of Vancouver and beyond. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Wilson, and I'm the Community Outreach Specialist for United Way of the Columbia Willamette. We are actually working with community reinvestment dollars through the individual development account program. And Korbett had mentioned it in his little ghost speech that was given tonight. So I wanted to kind of clarify what that program is and let you all know so you can let your people know. So the individual development account program is similar to the MISA program. It is a matched savings program with a lower barrier of entry. So you don't need to be in any kind of work training or anything like that. It's basically, have you not committed financial fraud? Do you have an I-10, a social security number, a tribal number? Great. And you can use an individual savings account to buy a home, do home repairs, buying a new or used car, education, or a business startup or existing small business. And this is available for Black, Latina, and tribal community members here in Clark County. We will match every dollar 2 to 1 up to $10,000. So if somebody wants to save $2,500 by June of this year, that's kind of what we're telling realistic goals here, then we'll match that and they'll have $5,000 to put towards their education. And they'll work with a financial coach that will help guide them to meet their savings goals, learn fiscal responsibility and how to manage money, essentially it. So if you are interested in learning more about the individual development account program and how you or somebody you know can apply for it, you can come see me after we're all done here tonight.
Thank you. Can we just give everyone who spoke tonight a round of applause? Everyone coming up actually reminded me of work that I did in an organization called the Native American Youth and Family Center. I was there in leadership with the organization, either on the board or on staff, for 13 years. And one of the things that made that organization so special was how the community rallied around itself and actually looked at its assets, came from not a framework of deficit, but a framework of abundance. And each person who walked up today talked about the assets of their community and how they're leveraging those to improve opportunity and outcomes. That's incredibly powerful. In fact, so powerful that if you are interested in advocating, don't forget that these items on your table that you can sign up and talk a little bit more about this up in Olympia and also with our delegation here in Clark County. Finally, stay connected. This is an opportunity for us to build networks, to get to know one another and support one another in this broader community. And that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for speaking, and have a good night and enjoy the food.